Hello and good evening. It's 9 p.m. and that means it's time for personal finance updates. So let's begin. Amidst high rate interest rate environment, SBI has once more hiked interest rate. Now it has increased prime lending rate by 70 basis points to 14.85%. Meanwhile, it has also increased base rate by 70 basis points, which will now be 10.1%. These rates will be applicable from Wednesday. The EMI amount for borrowers who have taken loans at base rate would go up. These are the old benchmarks on which banks used to disperse loans. Now, most of the banks provide loans on the external benchmark rate lending rate or repo-linked lending rate, which is known as RLLR. There is some good news on inflation front. After a drop in consumer inflation, the wholesale inflation also eased to 3.85% in February on easing prices of manufactured items and fuel and power. This is the 9th consecutive month of drop in wholesale inflation and lowest in 2 years. Inflation in food articles, however, rose to 3.81% in February, as against 2.38% in January. In its monetary policy review last month, the Reserve Bank of India had hiked key interest rate by 25 basis points to 6.5%, saying core inflation still remains sticky. There could be some relief for air passengers. A parliamentary panel has asked the Civil Aviation Ministry to introduce price band for airfares and make sure that predatory pricing mechanism is not adopted by airlines under the cloak of free market economy. The recommendations have been made by Parliamentary Standing Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture. The report was tabled in Parliament on Monday. Among others, there have been some complaints about sudden surge in air ticket prices during the peak travel season. And for those employees who retired before 1st September 2014, the Employees Provident Fund organization, that is EPFO, has announced the extension of the last date to submit applications for higher pension under the Employees Pension Scheme, that is EPS, to May 3. The last date has been extended for employees who retired prior to 1st September 2014 and exercise their option to avail of higher pension, but the Provident Fund authorities rejected the requests. Earlier, the last date was March 3, 2023 for such employees. A few days back, EPFO had extended the deadline to May 3 for those employees who are still working. IndusInd Bank hikes bulk FD rates. Senior citizens can earn as high as 8.25%. The private sector lender IndusInd Bank has hiked its interest rate on bulk fixed deposits of 2 crore rupees to less than 5 crore rupees. After the announcement, the bank is now providing interest on deposits maturing in 7 days to 61 months and over that range from 4.9% to 7%, and for the general public and for the senior citizens it is from 5.4% to 7.5%. Deposit tenors of 1 year to 3 years and 3 months will now fetch maximum interest rate of 7.5% for general public and 8.25% for senior citizens. Commercial banks are likely to increase the marginal cost of fund-based lending rate by 100 to 150 basis points in the next financial year FY24. The transmission of monetary policy in the banking system could intensify in FY24, and that is said by India Ratings and Research. Responding to the repo rates rise since May 2022, banks have raised median MCLR of 1 year duration by 120 basis points between May 2022 to February 2023. This is shown by the RBI data. The RBI has hiked policy repo rate by 250 basis points in stages to 6.5% in Feb 2023. Staying with interest rates, brokerage firm Nomura expects the Reserve Bank of India to hold rates in its April's monetary policy review. This is contrary to the consensus view among analysts that it will raise repo rate by 25 basis points. Nomura's view is based on several factors such as easing of inflation, delayed impact of previous monetary policy decisions, tough economic conditions and financial conditions in US. Along with this, a less robust demand forecast for 2023-24 fiscal year. Here is an option for investors looking to invest in index funds. Mirae Asset Mutual Fund has launched its new MF scheme, the Mirae Asset Nifty 100 Low Volatility 30 ETF. The new fund of INFO opened on March 13th and will close on March 21st, 2023. The scheme reopens for continuous sale and repurchase on March 27, 2023. During the NFO, an investor can invest a minimum of Rs 5,000 or any amount in multiples of 1 rupee. The new fund is a smart beta ETF that aims to measure the performance of the low volatile securities in large market capitalization segment. Divik Talk Transfer System stock made its market debut with a 5% premium on Tuesday as against the issue price of Rs 590. The stock made its debut at 620 rupees, up 5.08% from the issue price on NSE. Meanwhile, on BSE, it opened at 600 rupees, and that is a premium of 1.69%. As the trade progressed, the stock paid its early gains and declined 3.39% to trade at 570 rupees a piece on NSE and 3.32% at 570.4 on BSE respectively. The stock closed at 605.15, up 2.57%. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train project might get ready by 2026. This is told by Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Commenting on delays, he said there were some issues in Maharashtra which have now been resolved by the new state government there. On being asked when the country can expect the first bullet train, he said that the government has set target of August 2026 for the same. The goal is to run bullet train on larger section on 2027. He said, on Hyperloop, the minister said that it has a lot of potential, but the technology is 7 to 8 years away. Meanwhile, bullet train may run in 2026. Well, that's all for today. But remember to watch the live Financial Freedom Summit on Money9's YouTube channel from 2 p.m. onwards on Wednesday.